Address of Pope Leo XIV to pilgrims from the Diocese of Tuscany and others. This took place in St. Peter's Square on Saturday, October 11, 2025. In the name of the Father, of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit, peace be with you. Your most reverend eminences, excellencies, brothers and sisters, I welcome you, greeting all of you who come from the Diocese of Tuscany, together with pilgrims from Camerino, San Severino, Marche, Fabriano, Matalica, Lanciano, Ortona, and San Severo. Welcome to you all. The Jubilee pilgrimage is a good opportunity to renew together the profession of faith, also to express the community inclusive dimension of following Christ. Indeed, the one Church of Christ is embodied in the particular realities such as diocese, but also calls us to Catholicity, to feeling that we are one family, to the children of God beyond established boundaries, overcoming the temptation of a closed identity and living communion. It's a necessary frontier, especially with regard to the challenges of evangelization. Certainly, the existential, social, and ecclesial experience of your dioceses is diverse as much as you come from 3 Italian regions which have their own history. However, even if with different emphases, we are all called to question ourselves and to imagine new pastoral paths for a renewed proclamation of the gospel. Above all, to face some themes such as the catechesis of Christian initiation, the decline of vocations to the ordained ministry, the active participation of the laity in ecclesial life, the presence of communities with regard to the lives of families, the poor, the world of work, and so on. And some Italian regions, in Tuscany and the Marches are among them, a process of unification of the dioceses has been undertaken, which on the one hand can bring out certain pastoral potentialities, not so much in terms of numerical strength, but in terms of the quality of the offering. On the other hand, given that each diocese has its own particular ecclesial history and considering the geographical, territorial, and sometimes pastoral differences, it's necessary to engage in a genuine synodal exercise. That is to walk together in order to question ourselves, to begin some experimentation, and to initiate a serene and frank discernment in order to highlight the possibilities and limitations of such a process, so as to verify whether or not the conditions exist to move forward. There are already some collaborations in place that go beyond diocesan boundaries, as in the case of the ecclesiastical court, and there are others that are being launched, for example, with regard to the initial formation of priests and seminarians. I invite you to continue along this path because these experiences can help us to discern the future. I would like to address in particular the people of Tuscany, as this is the region's Jubilee pilgrimage. Your land, located in the center of Italy, is an extraordinary cradle of culture and art that preserves the indelible traces of the Middle Ages and the Renaissance, and has produced illustrious figures such as Dante Alighieri, Leonardo da Vinci, Michelangelo Buonarroti, and many others. It's also heir to a rich Christian history, in which the seat of holiness of St. Catherine of Siena, St. Gemma Galgani, and others matured, as well as numerous important popes. The richness of this heritage naturally must not cause us to look back, limiting ourselves to admiring the splendor of the past and understanding the challenges of the present. Today, underestimating the challenges of the present. Today, even in the face of the goodwill and generosity that characterize you as people, there's no shortage of issues that highlight a certain crisis of faith and religious practice, which require courageous investment in Christian formation and a new enthusiasm for evangelization. However, I would like to urge you to assume as a local church the style of proximity, listening to the struggles and hardships of the people. I say this thinking above all of the worrying news regarding various sectors of the world of work. This should not seem out of a place, but rather, as St. Paul VI recalled concerning the world of work, the Christian community, quote, must not only open itself up, but even more must be fraternally and actively present in this world with a spirit of intelligent understanding, watchful discernment, friendly dialogue. The Christian community, faced with the negative consequences of the occupational and social crisis, faced with uncertain prospects for the future, is called to exercise with generous passion a multifaceted role by studying problems, developing solutions, and assuming its responsibilities. In short, it must be the church in the community, that is, the church in homes, the church in factories, the church among the people, in quotes. And that ends the quotes, and that's from St. John Paul II's address to workers on March 18, 1984. In an industrious land such as Tuscany, home to some of the finest examples of small-scale craftsmanship and small and medium-sized industry, it's painful to see how the economic crisis affecting many companies is forcing the dismissal of so many workers and leaving many others on temporary layoff, waiting for the finalization of institutional agreements aimed at resuming activities. I therefore urge you to be a church close to the world of work, compassionate and embodied, so that the proclamation of the gospel will become a concrete presence of consolation and hope, and also a prophetic word that recalls the importance of guaranteeing work to everyone, since it is, quote, an essential dimension of social life, end quote. That's from Pope Francis's Fratelli Tutti, Article 162. Dear friends, some of the urgent pastoral and social matters on which I have wished to dwell, albeit in different ways and according to different priorities, affect all the local churches and call every one of our Christian communities to a reawakening of evangelization and a discernment on the forms of ecclesial presence in the territory. Don Lorenzo Milani, prophet of the Tuscan Italian Church, whom Pope Francis defined as, quote, a witness and interpreter of social and economic transformation, end quote. That's from Pope Francis' address to members of the community for the centenary of Don Lorenzo Milani, June 22nd, 2024, had as his motto, quote, I care, end quote. That is, quote, it matters to me, I am interested, it's close to my heart, end quote. I urge you not to be passive and to do your part to shape the face of a church that cares about people's lives, and especially the poorest. I entrust you to the intercession of the Virgin Mary and bless you in all your communities and your communities. I wish a good pilgrimage to you all.